I'm back and I'm relieved. Mind you, sanitary pad Timothy, or tampon Timothy, Lilith's Timothy, is only called that, just to put that out there, for those of you that lack understanding, because he wants to put tampons in the boys' bathrooms. That's why they call him Tampon Tim. He wants to put tampons in the boys' bathrooms in America. Verstaan jy? What's alang? That's why he's called sanitary pad Lilith's Timothy. Tim. Tampon Tim. Yeah. He's pad Tim because he wants to give boys pads. What's going on? That whole structure going down to America with sanitary tampon pad, women's paraphernalia Timothy. That whole thing going on with Harriet the Spy and sanitary tampon guy. Listen, it is bringing about the end of the world as we know it, and that's why it's relevant to me as a South African. Not because America is the most important nation in the world, but because Bible prophecy is being fulfilled right before our own eyes. And it is ideal. God is slow to anger, abounding in steadfast love, not willing that anybody should perish, but that all should come to a knowledge of him. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's our Messiah. He's not willing that people should perish, but he wants people to get regenerated. So if at all the coming of the Son of Man can be delayed, it's ideal not so much for us because we want him here. Come quickly, God. Come quickly. Right now. But it's ideal for you. Wicked conglomerate. John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whomsoever shall believeth upon him will not perish but have everlasting life. Okay? It's for your sake that he delays. It is for your sake that we are writhing, wondering when is this going to end exactly. It's for your sake. Therefore, if it is God's passions to be patient on your behalf, with a day being as 1,000 years and 1,000 years as a day, he will necessarily lend it over to be our passions too, even though we really want to just get out of here already. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I am here to highlight to you that you cannot afford for Tampon Tim and the camel Harriet the Spy to you can't support them or be indifferent where they are concerned, because the crash and the burn of the United States is the consumption by the European nations and the United Nations of America as a country that then is going to usher on the world scene the revived Roman Empire of which is going to give birth to the Antichrist of which is going to say, thank you for giving me sanitary pad Tim. He can move out the way now, because I'm running the show. And then absolute power is going to corrupt absolutely. Then he's going to say, take my mark, or don't buy, don't sell, don't eat, don't drink, don't sit, don't stand, don't wink, don't do anything. Don't do your hair unless I say so. That is the Antichrist system that's coming. And that's why you are foolish and naive to try and assassinate Donald Trump. He is standing in the way of sanitary pad Timothy and Harriet the Spy, doing whatever they want to do in giving America over to the beast system. It's not about the US. It's about what it means for the US to fall apart. It's not about the US in and of itself. It's about what the falling apart of the US means. And that's why it's important for us to vote or vie or root for Trump. That's why we must root for Trump. Because rooting for Trump and him succeeding is to delay, as it is God's will for that delay too, is to delay the end of the world. Do you understand? The Lord is slow to anger, abounding in steadfast love. Donald Trump is going to resist with all the fever in his bones. America as a country, you see, with Trump, it's not so much about evangelism. He's not saved. He's not apostolic in his mindset. He's not trying to convert the world to Christ. He's not a born-again man. Trump is like Pharaoh to Joseph or Cyrus. Trump is a means to the Christian end. Trump is like a refrigerator on meat. The meat is putrefying. The meat is going to rot on the kitchen counter unless you put it in a deep freezer. But if you put meat in a deep freezer for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years, it'll eventually rot, just at a much slower rate. He is a refrigerator. And that refrigerator is important for no other reason than the fact that you need that refrigerator to work. Because absent of it working, you will rot much faster than is absolutely necessary. And when things are rotten, they get thrown away in a dustbin. They get incinerated. They get put in Gehenna. They go to a place where the worm dieth not, and in that place there is weeping and gnashing of teeth for all of eternity, and the smoke of your torment will rise up forever, and there will be no rest for you day and night. That's what happens when the fridge is absent. You need a leader in the US that is going to simmer down the hostilities that the US has with Russia, with China, And that's also going to simmer down the US's insistence upon handing its sovereignty over to the elite, the global system. A sitting president that is going to antagonize the insistence upon America losing its sovereignty. That which Americans don't even realize themselves they need. They love their country. It's our superpower. Ooh, a tough love. Like Beyonce singing, a tough love, superpower. Yeah, not Beyonce, what then? If she had knowledge, my people perish for a lack of knowledge. And because they have not loved knowledge, God is going to cut them off from the land. He's going to withhold from them the inheritance of being priests. Beyonce doesn't have knowledge. She and her Jay-Z, they don't understand what they're standing for. They don't know what they're supporting in these streets. All these celebrities that are out just standing with the left agenda, all that, not Tyler, who's this, Taylor Swift. All that Taylor Swift, the witch, is thinking is, oh, I love the gay people, and they need life, and they need rest, and they just are so, like, leave them alone, they're more people. That's what she's thinking. She thinks she's on the right side of history, but if she knew that her country is going to lose its sovereignty to the people who stand with that agenda, she would fast and furious vote for Trump. I kid you not right now. If Americans had biblical knowledge, if they had understanding as to the ramifications of their proliferation of wickedness, if they understood what it meant, if they knew that they would end up being, give me a country that used to be strong, that used to be Ipova, a beast, and now it's just Kisono, hey? Like, hey, nobody see or tell that it used to be a powerhouse once. I'm trying to fight Persia, thank you, son. Persia, Babylon. Right? Not Babylon, but Persia, just Persia. Let's stick to a Middle Eastern country, or even Egypt. Egypt, thank you. Egypt is the best one. A country that used to be a global superpower, like a leader, a world prominent, prolific beast. And now today, it's just kind of scraping by, eh? Yeah. Egyptians would love to return to the days of the Pharaoh of Joseph, when they were the most powerful country on earth. Iranians would love to return to the days of, Xerxes. King Artaxerxes, however it is that you pronounce it, Artaxerxes. Nice. They would love to return to the days of Xerxes, because the country was an empire at the time, a superpower. Babylon would love to be revived, brought back and developed from death. But right now it's a heap of radiation poisoning. Do you understand what I'm saying? Go and ask people that live in countries that used to be prolific once upon a time. They were important. I was going to say Rome, but Rome is not so entirely decimated in its strength and its girth that it's looking all sappy and sorry now. I'm speaking about countries that were once first world and now they're third world. Y'all know how it is to be a citizen in that country. You can't even imagine the day, the season, the era when your country was the most beloved in the world, the most feared. Yeah. That's what happens when empires ride the Ottoman Empire. Yeah. Now today, it's like, what's going on? Hey? Yeah. You got your Erdogan here, Recep, as you're always just trying to scrape out the eyeballs of Israel. It's all he can do with his little meager voice as a member of NATO that's insincere. But there was a time when they were like out here in these streets killing it. The citizens of that land would love to return to a time, Greece as well, right? To a time when they were the baddest in the game, where everybody was out here filling them and nobody else. Well, I mean, the US is 5 seconds away from being the Ottoman Empire, 5 seconds away from being the Egyptian Empire, 5 seconds away from being the Grecian Empire, even the Roman Empire. They're 5 seconds away from being a country that used to be the baddest, and don't nobody think that anybody can bring them down, and then they get brought down. So everybody that contributed to the demise, the calamity that befell that land to a point of obsolescence will of course look back and regret it. They will look back and regret the things that they did to contribute to the demise of their country. What kills a country, guys? Well, what tends to finish land off? It's just so much moral turpitude. When a nation is so full. The Bible describes Babylon as full of strong drink and food. They are filled with food and pleasure. They become hedonistic. When a society becomes hedonistic, it starts to die because morality keeps a society aloft. God has the back of a moral society. When you start hooking up gladiator games, when you start, killing Christians in the Colosseum because your name is Nero, when you start doing strange stuff because you're that empire guy, your land falls apart. A country that is thirsty for the blood of certain folk, that has no freedoms for others, a nation that insists upon the worship of a man, a country that has a despot, a sovereign for a ruler, with some people being so severely oppressed that they can't breathe, will ultimately conjure up in its bones a revolution. Look at France. A revolution that will ultimately destruct or topple over, decimate, like uproot the structures in question. The Bible says it this way: a kingdom divided cannot stand. A land that despotic will have enough people rising up against it until it implodes. And then Taylor Swift is gonna miss the America of seventh heaven. Seventh heaven. They're gonna miss Dawson's Creek type America, where entertainment looked like that. They're gonna miss the good old-fashioned days of up and down this road, walking the line. Ally McBeal, they are going to miss better days. They're gonna see that there are better days. I can think of better days. They're gonna thoroughly see better days out of what wasn't broken, but they try to fix it. They're naive. You think that you can help sin along, adore it, kiss it, hug it like a teddy bear, and your country not fall apart. Nations that have fallen apart have had a very predictable downward trajectory. They were full of food, a great deal of wine, lots of dancing, cheering, singing, and a hatred of morality. They were hedonistic as a society, and they stopped valuing that which founded the nation. Oftentimes, the God of that country has been ignored. The Father on high that established their land, do you understand, is now ignored. Jesus is ignored. And upon that which is rational and sober being ignored, the countries fall apart. Egypt fell apart after the slaves were freed. However, it was raised to the utmost of its potency because it was catering to the needs of the Jews, of the Hebrews. Babylon was made powerful by God because it was housing the Jews in exile. It tended to be causally connected, related to either the preservation of God's people or their judgment. Babylon was there to judge and preserve God's people. Persia, Iran, ancient Iran, preserve and judge. Where it is that they were exiled, they were to be preserved and judged at the same time. Egypt was to preserve God's people, but ultimately they were judged by their indiscretion. Then they were moved over to Canaan. What I'm trying to explain is that the proliferation of the gospel is the only reason empires rise and fall. So the moment an empire abandons the cause of God's people, it starts to fall. And the American empire is gonna fall because it's no longer preserving the cause of God's people. And its falling is going to be handed over to a structure that's going to insist on the finishing off of all religion, of godliness on the earth. And that empire is going to crash and burn because it's going to be the most abusive against God's people. The revived Roman Empire, the Antichrist system, is going to be the most abusive in the history of the human race. No time will compare to it as it is written in God's word in the book of Revelation and in the book of Daniel and in Matthew 24. That no time compares to this one. There is no time that is more hard than this one. It's treachery. It's devastating. But it will not last for very long. Because even the elect, if God does not cut the days short, even the elect would not be saved. But for the sake of the elect, he will cut those days short. So when mankind insists upon being filled with food and debauchery without having any regard for morality, for holiness, they get finished. Sodom. End. People get finished off when they maintain a wickedness. So Americans and all their patriotism, it's unfortunate. Because the very thing that you imagine you're doing for the sake of your patriotism is the very thing that's going to destroy you. Taylor Swift is going to wake up in a desolate America with that Statue of Liberty swimming around in the ocean after Manhattan Island gets nuked, because that's what God showed me is going to happen, because the Lord is going to let it happen. Yeah, she's going to be looking at that glorious New York being underwater from all different kinds of calamities falling and recognize that they were made weak as a country precisely because, what is that song? Yeah, that song with all the gay people in it. Yeah, because she was busy singing all that. Because all their men were busy being made all that effeminate. Because all their kids were busy out here doing gender transformation surgeries. Because everybody was busy out here acting such a crazy fool. The Russian army got super strong. The Chinese army got super strong. Men were maintained men. Those who rejected the woke agenda were so strong in comparison to this weak, lackluster America, whose Katy Perry queen is out just singing about how it is that if you want to be a little girl as a boy, do you? Even though we need your muscle, we need you to be a man in order for our country to be strong. The moment you make our men girls, we're done for. We're done for. She's going to see at some point that it is 100% causally connected. Her insistence on letting little boys end up little girls that her country fell apart. But for now, there is a way that seems right to a man, and in the end, it leads to destruction. There is a way that seems right to a man, and in the end, it leads to destruction. The coveting of femininity by men is killing countries, entire countries. When men envy all our makeup, and when men envy all our mannerisms, when they envy our hairstyles and our dresses, what? When you spend all that much time in front of the mirror, you are flipping, aren't you? Upside down. That which we find attractive about men as women ought be maintained. Their strength, their girth, their deep voices, and their manly manhood, and the fact that they are unbothered and disinterested largely in their appearance. They don't spend 10 hours in front of the mirror. They don't get manicures and pedicures and all different kinds of weird stuff. They basically, they brush their teeth. They clothe their bodies. They put some soap in their armpits. In the right places. But they don't spend a good 10 hours thereafter, just kind of grooming and cutting stuff and getting eyebrows to look a particular way. This over-involvement of cute by men is just taxing to look at. This effeminate energy is irritating. It's annoying. That which makes a man, it's just eroding all across our societies. Men are competing with women. The way that they are so put together, it's just irritating. We are the ones that are always powdering our noses even though we've already got a wad of makeup on the face. If a man is still interested and bothered by his appearance and what's in his teeth after he gets out of his bathroom, I could tell fit is a seba. At least roll on deodorant, cologne maybe. But really, let things go. Once a week, go to the barber, shave the hair off, shave your beard in your own bathroom or at the barber, but that's it. Like, if you are still powdering your nose and then taking photos on social media looking like a girl out here with a face looking like pouting, or with your eyes all sexy, with your eyes all like, half open, and you are just, what are you doing taking some men with selfies? I can't. I literally cannot deal. I can't. Like, I would, like a man that has got like 20 selfies that all look similar to each other on a social media profile. A man that out here is taking photos of him and his six-pack. I can't. Men are just supposed to be kind of like whatever concerning their appearance. They mustn't be messy and untidy indeed. Tuck your shirt in, fine, iron it. Don't go to work creased. And don't leave those Rice Krispies, that ugly hair, esa shavewang off. Do the minimum. Indeed, like I said, fitisa sepa in the right places. But I can't, like a dude, then he's out there taking a selfie with his eyes slightly closed. And then he posts that on social media. And there are women who like that. I don't get it. There are women who are out here doing hearts on it. Women who are out here literally appreciating a little girl, fronting as a boy. A feminist society full of men that are into a dude with, guys, like, the moment a guy has got, look, I don't like dreadlocks personally, but like whatever, if a guy has them, whatever, right? Do you ngamatres wako? But these dudes with their cornrowed dreadlocks, or he has shaven the side of his head to leave a mohawk that is cornrowed of dreadlocks on top, or a whole bunch of line, like, square cut, creating a new demarcation painted on with like some funny little thing on his forehead. His head. I can't. When a dude spends too much, like the cornrows, why would you want to sit in a chair for 5 hours like a woman, getting your hair did as a man? It's just problematic. It's problematic. And men don't see anything wrong with that. They thoroughly do not see anything wrong with sitting, getting a very intricate, very, like it looks like a labyrinth on his head, cornrow hairstyle. Papa went to a salon and showed this lady a photo of a labyrinth. And you sat there. Y'all know women what it's like. The cost of beauty. You know they say. In order to be beautiful, you must long suffer. The salon chair for 7 hours. People just installing singles on your head. And then a man goes and does that for dreadlocks. A man goes and does that. Like, I am properly, thoroughly sorry. I am sorry. Shave your head. Kama afro, then leave it at that. And then again. Next time you go and use the urinal in the bathroom at work, and next time you come back home and brush your teeth at night before you sleep, that's the next time you're going to be seeing your face. But a dude that is out here taking his teeth through a teaspoon. Yes, like it, but I can't. And when I open social media, there are so many of them like that. So many. I mean, a society like that, what in the world does your military look like? What does your army look like? When your men are out here brushing their teeth 5 times a day, that there are men carrying toothpicks in their man purses, and men out here thoroughly spending as much time at the salon as you as a woman, changing their hairstyle as frequently as you as a woman. Oh, I'm literally too sorry. A man that's at the barber shop 3 times because he keeps on touching up Jim and Kate like what's like Papa, I can't. Like I literally cannot deal. Kangaza, enguyadzupna, hey? Somnganga somtsumpareng. Somnganga. Like somnganga, a dude, you see. He's never like women, we are called by Christ to be modest, to cover our bodies with clothes, not to stumble some people in these streets. I mean, of course, modesty must also apply to men. Hingawing in muscle shed. What's wrong with you? And Ignaza. Yeah, bodysuit, this thing, tight, skinny jeans. Out here hugging your calves. But I used to struggle to take off my pants back in the day because I was always wearing a yeah. You know, when you have to take like a good 3 minutes just to get your jeans out, like off your ankles because they're so tight. When men have got to do that to get undressed, I'm sorry. We're the ones that should struggle to get anything off or on, for that matter. Well, when a man's outfit needs you to help them zip it up, it's not for a man. I'm sorry. We're the ones that have got zips at the back that somebody must help us to put them up. We're the ones that have got outfits that have got buttons at the back. So you will out here be buttoning your dress like from the back, and then you're struggling because that women are made like that. We are the ones that adorn ourselves to a point where we have to be communicated to, rebuked in the scriptures to not focus too much on the adorning of ourselves with makeup and beautiful apparel and hair and gold and silver. We have to be told that because it is our tendency. It is a woman tendency to be out here having a dress that's got buttons at the back, that you have to be a contortionist artist just to get to them. I mean, you have to ask like 20 people at work, how can you please help button this at the back for me? Please, I couldn't do it at home. That's why I put a jacket on top of it. And I don't have anybody that I live with, so please help me button this at work. That's a woman for you. Because what better intricate extreme when you got zips on the side, eh? Zips here. Like proper. Women's outfits got zips going like that. Look how you have to use a hook, hanger. DIY. Innovation. Take the hook of a hanger just to zip yourself because you don't have anybody helping you along in his house. That's women's outfits. And if a man gotta get dressed like that, I'm sorry. If a man gotta go and fetch buttons at the back of his neck, what are you wearing? The only buttons a man should be struggling with are the ones here. The only ones. And the ones here. The only zips that he should be dealing with is the one down below. That's it. A man should not be zipping anything here. A man should not be zipping anything here. A man should not be zipping anything there. A man should not be asking anybody, baby, but their outfits are made like that these days. They're made like that. Like women's outfits. The center of your back as a man. What are you wearing? As a man. Okay, look, I can understand because maybe your coat has got buttons that come down on the side. Here, that I can understand. Mara, basically these effeminate outfits that take men 20,000 hours in front of the mirror and that cause them to like women, ask them to zip them up at the back. Go again. That's not a man should not be wearing a woman's attire and vice versa. I'm an outfit air too, so it is no wonder you envy our ministries. Because upizwe na wapere outfit ya go konopelwa mo saiteng ka mo le mo morago. O apere that for a shirt. Baga. That's why you covet my ministry. You are chasing after women's things. If a man on TikTok, yes guys, there's problems in these streets. Women are the ones that are concerned with their beauty because that's just how we've been made. We are the most vain sex. Do you understand? We are called the fairer sex because we are the ones that come with the primary sin of vanity. So we gotta deal with that indeed, in vanity. Now when a man is vain, there is a flipping of even sin. Like even when your sinful roles are flipping, there's a challenge. There's an issue. On TikTok, I watch so many TikTok videos every morning when I'm busy getting ready just to, entertain myself with what's going on down in these streets of South Africa. Scrolling down these TikTokers' content and the number of guys that rock up giving like, hey, guys, this is what I would recommend you do, blah, blah. Basically just guys doing what guys do on social media. Yeah, you'd be cool with them until you realize TikTok is okay. You discover that because these people recorded their video inside the application that is TikTok, they used an effect, a filter that TikTok provided, right? And because TikTok is a business and its CapCut is a business, they are trying to sell their features to people, and they want people to know what this person has added on their video to make it look like this. So you will scroll down TikTok and watch a whole bunch of women, and you will see beauty effect, clear skin effect, this effect, this effect, this effect. For women, you can understand, or even makeup. I'm wearing fake makeup right now, hey? And I'm not afraid to evidence that that's a thing. I keep letting you guys know that, ayo, I'm wearing fake makeup on my face. It's a filter. I'm a woman. We tend to love to experiment with such things as these. As women. Yeah. So when I see beauty effect or eyelashes or whatever on TikTok under a woman's video, I'm just like, yeah, whatever. Women do what they want to do. But when a guy has got beauty skin, when a guy has got clear skin, when a guy has got heratung, it's like, what is going on? Lomuntu is talking to you, trying to sound like a man. But he's so concerned with his beauty that he is out there adding a filter, a clear skin, or pore removal. Why? I mean, if a dude out there removing his pores and his acne scarring using a filter on TikTok, and he's got like the dreadlocks in Zameropoto, say 20, that took him 20,000 years to do in a salon chair. If at all your country goes to war and they need muscle, what's that bugger gonna do, seeing as he's all up in like trying to put a filter, your beauty skin on his face when there's no war? Men are not men. What does your military look like? What is your and that's exactly what's going on in America. And in South Africa, everywhere really, frankly. Our men are effeminate, they covet women, they envy us so much that they can't breathe or deal, and they then go out of their way to even wear makeup just as we do. All the time that we spend in front of the mirror, they feel like they get to do it too. They love our guais, they love our form-fitting dresses, they love our hourglass shapes, and there's just so many videos on TikTok of these men out here wearing guais and walking and priding themselves in being better at walking in heels than women. Like his whole YouTube, getting a TikTok thing that he's doing is dedicated to showing women that I can walk in heels better than you. Start stumbling around, wearing a gumgedela of a guai, and he's struggling to walk, and then he stands up straight and then walks in these guais. And the amount of love that he is getting, the number of people that are priding themselves in the fact that a man has mastered how to walk in heels better than women. Yeah, let your country go to war, because right now we are facing war across all our nations. There are civil wars breaking out all over the show. Let your countries go to war and see what that guai wearing drag queen is going to do for you. Who is going to defend your country when he's wearing a guai? Who? We get that women these days are being conscripted into the military. Into the military. We get that women are fighting wars, but the only reason why women are even ending up in the military is because they are butching up like men, while men are watering down their butchness, such that apparently allegedly we are, I guess, equalizing each other. More butch women in the military with less effeminate men in the military achieves, I guess, a neutralizing effect, right? So I guess we still have enough people in the military, except God did not make women to have as strong muscles as men do. We don't have the lung capacity of men to endure as much running as men do. We just don't have the physiology of men. So therefore, even in battle, we frankly are not ever going to achieve the success that men can in bringing home victory. Women are not made for that. We don't have all that thickness in our skin to take all those blows the way that men can. Their bone structure, everything about them is just more physically fit. They have grander endurance. They are mightier than us physically. It's just the way that it is. You cannot change that about our biology. And yet we have got military-aged men out there putting a skin filter on TikTok. It is no wonder, therefore, you are standing with Gamela, even as a South African, with Harriet the Spy and Tampon Tim. It is no wonder you don't see the value of Donald Trump. And in not seeing the value of Donald Trump, South Africans, and anyone else that might be listening to me, you don't see the value of maintaining the world in the stance that it is in right now, where you are still evangelizable, where you are still reachable for Jesus, where you can still be snatched out from the flames of hell, when you can still be made to wear ingaza and normal instead of a skinny jean as a dude, when you can still, out here in these streets, stop jumping already and trusting Christians to put a trampoline down below because you're suicidal. but make your own decision in your own volition to start being a human being already instead of some caricature of humanity that the devil is rather trying to create. Stop trying to be something that God did not make you to be. Because like I said, somnganga somtsumpareng. A man in a guai, somnganga somtsumpareng. A man with a skin filter on TikTok, somnganga somtsumpareng. A woman in the military, in the army, somnganga somtsumpareng. A woman out here butchly running a show and providing for the cares of the household while the man is a stay-at-home husband, somnganga somtsumpareng. A person partaking in sorcery, embracing the colorful community, the agenda, instead of evangelizing them, bringing them home to embrace the gospel so that they may be healed. A man with a zip going all the way down his back and not so much in front, by his flat. If a man has got more than one zip on his outfit, maybe 3 because he's got, those jeans, that not jeans, those khaki pants that have got zips maybe like down below, because he's wearing khaki pants that are like farmer's pants or whatnot. Yeah, but if a man has got like I said, buttons down the side on an outfit, he's wearing a tsupna. If he has got a collar in gaga, like proper, looking like RuPaul, some tsumpareng. If he's got his edges lain, some tsumpareng. If he's carrying a toothbrush so that he can keep on brushing down his brows and calling himself straight, tsumpi, tsumparais. Lo muntu koge is it tight le bogati yakhe. If at all you can see ipotrisi endota yakho through ibogati yakhona, some tsumpareng. Because you should not be wearing jeans that tight. No man should be wearing jeans that tight. You should not be able to see the potteries of your man through jeans. You very potentially might be able to see that he's got thick thighs, no matter what jean he's wearing. Because people are thicker than kotlase. Mara the moment bogate mona how it draw potteries ya high. Somngang. No pun intended there. Somngang langkutla. Kitsupna. And you women that are taking on the roles of men, likense di outi. Telling yourselves as well, Uguti, who run the world, girls, somnganga sompareng. La perdi somnganga, satanic, that's tight, it's a cons. He is not comfortable. You will never ever be at peace until you embrace your God-given, thingamabobby that you're in. Whatever it is that is the demarcation that God has given you to dwell in, you will never be at ease, but I need to show you are stubborn. You are telling yourself, I'm going to do what I want to do. As a girl, I'm going to dress like a boy. And as a boy, I'm going to dress like a girl. And as a dude, I'm going to have a filter on TikTok that has eyelashes on it. Okay. And then see what you're going to do when your country gets thrown into so much disarray. Because now the restrainer has been removed. And your neighboring country is out here infiltrating your borders, wreaking havoc, raping your women. And now you got to stand up and be a man. Or the other guy from the other country. Or are you not going to run just like all the women are running from the rapists? Is that not what gay men do? When women are running and screaming, they also run and scream, don't they? They also jump when rodents are in the room, don't they? They also don't care to swat a fly when a woman is like, oh, it's buzzing around me. When we complain and say it's hot, aren't men the one that out here be giving us an umbrella? Yeah, well, the gay dude wants the umbrella too. So, when you're also running from the threat and the women have no safety, it means that everybody in your country are laying destitute. They're at the mercy of any threat that comes from the outside. And a country that is woke like that is therefore at a military disadvantage. And America is a global superpower that has got a weak military now because it's woke. It's got trans soldiers. It is out here ransacking its own patriotism by embracing things that do away with the fabric of American society. And then they say Donald Trump is the tenement of, they're calling him Hitler-esque, hey? They say that he's like Hitler. They're calling him a fascist and a despot because of wanting to maintain good old-fashioned American values. Yeah, if you're gonna call somebody Hitler, somebody's going to imagine just like Hitler that he needs to be assassinated. But you see, that's the thing about the last days. Things are upside down. Good is called evil and evil is called good. Before Donald Trump ran for presidency, before he became a politician, he was never accused of racism at all. If anything, he was beloved during the days of The Apprentice. Remember, you're fired. Remember that time? Everybody loved Trump then. But then he decides to run for presidency and restore good old-fashioned American values, and then only he is a racist, especially considering he fell within the right wing of the American political landscape. He chose to be a conservative, and because he's a conservative, he is considered a racist, because apparently all conservative ideals are colonialist in their core, and so therefore full of a lot of oppression and fascism, and so therefore ought to be completely written off, without human beings taking into consideration that really throwing out the baby with the bathwater is not going to do anything for you. Nobody is perfect comprehensively. No structure that has brought anything on board for a country has ever been comprehensively righteous. Do you understand? But that which is holy, we hold on to it, and that which is worthless, we throw away. It is written in God's word in Philippians 4 verse Philippians 4 verse 6 to 7, 8. Philippians 4 verse 8. That whatever is pure, whatever is just, whatever is lovely, whatever is excellent, whatever is commendable, if there be any excellence, think on these things. If something is good, you can hold on to it, but then throw everything else away. Presently in this era, we lack perfection. So therefore, men and women of old that have brought forth structures, that have healed lands, have tended to have flaws in them, like the gospel being given to many Africans through slavery. You cannot throw away the gospel with the bathwater of slavery. When you don't know how to differentiate between what you keep and what you throw away, you will literally throw everything away. So while I don't deny that much of systematic oppression in the US that is historical did come from the right side, from the right wing, the very bottom line is this. There are principles that were spurred from that side of life that kept America in the neat bunch that it is now today. That accent of holding on to them because you want to throw away the baby with the bathwater. Ain't nobody out in these streets going to be good peoples. Philippians 4 from verse 8, it is written, finally, brothers, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is commendable, if there is any excellence, if there is anything worthy of praise, think about these things. So if something is praiseworthy, excellent, worthy, blah, blah, all that jazz, think on it, and whatever portion of it might have been moldy, cut off the moldy bit and keep the healthy bread. Humanity, we are in dire need of doing that for a practice. We gotta keep what is good and throw away what is wicked. So, indeed, conservative ideals do go back to systematic oppression. We will not lie about that. But they were not wrong about the Bible. They were not wrong about the gospel. They were not wrong about Christ being the only way, the truth, and the life. They were not wrong about homosexuality being wrong. They were not wrong about men being men and women being women. They were not wrong about a lot. Throw away the bathwater. Keep the baby. But Donald Trump, if he was a black man conservative, he would have been called an Uncle Tom, just like they did with, who is this? Okie, what Gifted Hands? Who's that dude in the movie Gifted Hands, that doctor? Yeah, you get my point, the black man. He's called an Uncle Tom because he's a conservative. Just like many black people are called an Uncle Tom because they are conservatives. In the US, you will call people coconuts, Oreos, whatever, because they hold fast to certain things that are not broken. However, in holding on to a loose moral society that's just falling apart, you literally bring about the end of the world, the apocalypse as we know it. Why did I close that portion, that part in the book of Daniel where I was at? I want you to understand that me losing everything, me not having a job, and me being resisted like this is as a result of fulfilled Bible prophecy that is being fulfilled because people are evil, but that God is slow to anger and abounding in steadfast love enough to basically delay even my deliverance. I'm in a knot, a bunch, a tight one, quite a squeezy one, very uncomfortably. I am not happy with my life. I would love to go home yesterday, and I keep on being maintained in poverty, and it's just really super uncomfortable. And I keep looking at God on some free me, please, like this sucks. But that is the thing about a patient God that is slow to anger and abounding in steadfast love. He will disquiet for a minute longer, extra. His saints that are writhing for your sake. Is that not benevolence? For the Lord to allow those who have adored him feverishly to be uncomfortable for that much slightly longer, that you might wake up and smell the incredibly smelly coffee in the room. Do you not see that God is unhappy with the corset around my waist, how tight it is, and how much I am struggling to inhale and exhale? I am 5 seconds away from asphyxiating And yet the Lord knows just how much oxygen remains in my lungs before I cease to be. So thus, for as long as that oxygen is there, I am kept in barely breathing mode, with an asthmatic attack, barely making it mode, for the sake of you miscreants, finally snapping out of your crazy, because the Lord is aware just how much little air I breathe is going to ultimately result in my asphyxiation. God knows what is the amount of health in my bones left for me to survive this thing. Enough for him to take me to the nth of myself for your sake. And you think that that is his absence? His lack of action? You think that God waiting for you is him forsaking me? Unfortunately for you wicked men and women, you find out the hard way, and ever so immediately. Because though the righteous lady may fall 7 times, she gets up each and every single time. But you wicked men and women, you're overcome suddenly by calamity in a way that you can't even negotiate with your present demise. The way it happens so fast, it is instant. But you will have been preceded in the run-up to your perishing by a lot of warning, a lot of admonition that you will have ignored. Do not look at my suffering and imagine me forsaken. I just have a set amount of oxygen in my tank that God is aware is running out, and he won't let me, like I said, asphyxiate. But he will take this thing to the point of near asphyxiation for your sake. Because for me to live is Christ, but to die is gain. I'm so saved, I'm so born again, that even when I die, I don't really die. Whereas when you die, you go to hell. That's the issue here. Do not look at God's long-suffering as evidence of his abandonment of saints. He is riding you out for a season that you might recover. The world is ending. What is with the attempted assassination of Donald Trump again? What is with the vision I'm getting of Elon Musk being killed? What is with the severance of Twitter from certain platforms across the world? What is with the pressure on certain unyielding global elites to capitulate to this wicked agenda? Why is there so much brazenness on the earth? The way that things are going right now, this downward trajectory, unless stayed by an opposing force, is going to continue in this fashion. And so, crash and burn vibes. Then you will know that I've never been forsaken. I do messages of this nature literally almost every single day. And yet people keep crossing their menacing fingers, hoping I don't come up for air. At your own peril. Because I've got just enough air until such time that the Lord is like, okay, Karabo's out of oxygen now, so I guess you're done for. On the day when I rise, that's when you're finished, okay? I fall 7 times and I get up each time. But the wicked are suddenly overcome by calamity. But you're wearing your tsupna. You're rocking your somnanga som tsumperang. That's you in these streets. But crack all up in everybody's face. You're uncomfortable. You're sitting with strategy. And yet you think I'm the one here that's in danger. I've just got enough oxygen and it's uncomfortable. I would much rather have abundance. I would. Is that basic? I want freedom. I want stability, financial security. I want to have assurance that tomorrow I'm going to be good. You know what I'm saying? But God says don't worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Seek ye first the kingdom and its righteousness, and everything else will be added to you. Gather for yourself treasures in heaven, where moth and rust do not destroy, and thieves do not come in and steal. So, I work for today's currency. Today has enough troubles on its own to worry about tomorrow. It's hard not to worry about tomorrow when I'm such a planner. All I can do is store up barnyards to make sure I've been made to live hand-to-mouth currency. I've been made to encourage myself on the daily. I've been made to survive death spells one day at a time. It's not easy to live so piecemeal. It's rough. Do you understand? I would much rather have the opulence of certainty as to what's going to happen in 2 weeks. But I don't. I have just enough for the day. And that is what imagines you, causes you to enter into Think Boulevard about the fact that I'm forsaken by a holy God that has kept me alive as at today and will likely do it again tomorrow and the next day if he doesn't rapture us. That is the issue. I survive suicide curses every single day, one day at a time. I survive moneylessness, unemployment, one day at a time. I survive infirmity on the part of the thoughts of men, one day at a time. I survive incendiary petitions against my person, to fornicate, to let go, to give up on God, to apostatize literally a day at a time. A day at a time. And it is that hand-to-mouth lifestyle that I am living that is making you think I'm forsaken. When the scriptures make it clear that you take up your cross every single day deny your flesh every single day, and you follow Christ. It is not a weekly feat or a fortnightly feat. It is a daily feat, and I keep doing that in front of you, do I not? And yet you don't gauge me as a person living a godly life, a living epistle before you all that ought to be emulated the example of. If I'm following Christ, you ought then follow my example. You don't see me as a worthwhile pursuit because you've got barnyards for days. You have stored for yourselves vats of flour, wheat, animals out here bleating in your little kraals. You have got livestock for days, but tomorrow there will be a tsunami, and they will all be dead, and you'll be left with nothing, oh foolish man. Why not gather for yourself treasures in heaven where moth and rust do not destroy, thieves do not come in and steal, fires do not burn down your barns and your animals? And you think that the person that has got wealth stored up in the sky is in danger? I'm in danger for real. That menacing statue of Nebuchadnezzar in the book of Daniel. We see it outside of the United Nations in America there. America of which is on its way out since they keep on trying to kill Trump. Trump of which is not America's savior, but God's chock-a-block to the demise of America. Y'all need to understand that that's how God works through human beings, right? You keep trying to kill the guy and one day you might succeed. But I would venture to say that God will save Trump by taking the body of Christ out, so the guy can get born again, and thus rewarded for having the backs of Christians during the time when they were still in these streets. You don't know what you are doing. However, in all of your pomp, fever, and arrogance, you continue anyway. And I am here to alert you to the fact that this is not going to end well. Daniel 7, it is written. Let me sit a little bit more comfortably, that I might not pass away, seeing as you insist I pass away from blood circulation loss. This filter must just stay. I'm a girl, I get to have one. Daniel's vision of the 4 beasts, Daniel 7, it is written, so you can understand that this beast is chilling outside of the United Nations in America. Yo, you've been warned. In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel saw a dream and visions of his head as he lay in his bed. Then he wrote down the dream and told the sum of the matter. Daniel declared, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the 4 winds of heaven were sitting up the great sea, and 4 great beasts came up out of the sea, different from one another. The first was like a lion with eagle's wings. Please go Google statue outside of Guinea, United Nations. That was gifted them by, what is that country? Was it Pakistan or something? Indiangas. They gifted the United Nations that menacing, heinous statue. And it looks like this beast. And you think this here is not prophetic? Guys. Okay. The first was like a lion and had eagle's wings. Then as I looked, its wings were plucked off, and it was lifted from the ground and made to stand on 2 feet like a man. And the mind of a man was given it. And behold, another beast. A second one, like a bear. It was raised up on one side. It had 3 ribs in its mouth between its teeth, and it was told, arise and devour much flesh. Russia much. So essentially that statue chilling outside of the United Nations is where? It's in America. And here is a beast being told, devour much flesh. So basically, the second beast is told to eat America. Why would Russia eat America? They would only eat it if they can. If it has so lost its mind and its wits, if its leadership is not trying to negotiate with him, it will be devoured. So when Trump goes out the window, so too does a relationship with Russia go out the window. We all know how things fell apart. If anything, October 7 would not have happened if Trump was in office. Not only that's in Israel, right? But the pulling out of Afghanistan, haphazardly, just like that, by Biden, that wouldn't have happened if Trump was in office. The comprehensive disrespect of America by the Middle East would not have happened if Trump was in office. Because Trump had like these relations with Putin that were self-preserving for his country. He also had relations with Pingy, right? Pingy alongside Unyi. Like Xi Jinping and Kim Jong-un, he had diplomatic relations with these countries in a way that kept America, long story short, kind of like, in good waters with China, North Korea, and Russia. Then Trump leaves office, and Biden has no regard to maintain these diplomatic relations. And look at Pingy, Ungi, and Putin out here allied with each other, gnashing their teeth at America, trying to eliminate even the might of the global superpower's currency by messing with its petrodollar strength. Causing global landscapes, the way that America is so falling apart because of Joe Biden, or fell apart because of Joe Biden. Even the UAE, basically nations in this world that were relying on America to be sober, pulling away from America because of the weakness of its leadership. That was done by one man over a span of 4 years. And all that damage came because America insisted on voting a leader in that says, do what thou wilt, for that is the whole of the law. And this leader is still maintained in adoration despite him having ransacked the US of America. I mean, yeah, you must understand, if Trump is in office or was in office, Putin and all of his nukes would not have been facing America. And the possibility, the likelihood of Putin invading the Ukraine would also not have been a thing. There probably would not have been an invasion in the Ukraine if Trump was in office. There probably would not have been an invasion, a whole massacre on October 7th in Israel. There probably would not be this powder keg that's busy brewing with the United States of America being all flaccid and namby-pamby concerning its response to Israel's retaliation against its enemies about it. There would not be as much of a feverish war in the Middle East if Trump was in office. Y'all need to understand, Trump is not Jesus, he's not the Messiah, but God has a thing about using mere mortals to delay stuff. Like I said, he's a refrigerator. He is God's refrigerator. His policies are not adored. He is resented by the devil because he is delaying what is inevitable. Donald Trump is the fridge, and y'all be out there trying to make it malfunction so that the meat that you are as a global citizenship will putrefy. God will always put structures in place that are restraining the spread of evil. But if you insist on maintaining your evil, he's going to give you what you want. He's going to give you your Biden. I believe the Lord gave the U.S. Biden to show them that you're in trouble. I mean, look at what this guy's going to do in the tenure of his reign of terror on you guys. Biden was so whack that even some of the left were like, look, I'm not necessarily Biden's big fan, but over my dead body before I will vote for Trump. That over there is a stubborn spirit. We have reporters of news networks that are leftist who are like, it's not so much like, what's this? I would vote for Biden only because I don't want to vote for Trump. When that's your reason, when you vote for Biden just because you don't want to vote for Trump, but you don't vote for Biden because you believe in Biden, your country's done for. You're stubborn. You're recalcitrant. You're stubborn. That's the way that the American population responded to Biden's reign of insanity. They said he's better than Trump for no other reason than the fact that Biden's presidency was a do what thou wilt, for that is the whole of the law type presidency. That's what it was. That's what it was. It's like a groupthink, like a silly little sneezy gas in the sky that's making Americans dizzy, and they don't even see that that's what's down. They don't even see that that's what's good. Hi guys, we're going home. Because the moment the US falls under leadership under the left for one more term, the US will get engulfed whole. It will be swallowed as like juice through a straw. And I mean, when it's gone, who's gonna take over global leadership? Europe that's out here arresting people for putting a post on Facebook? Come on. It's the end of the world. If the US does not stand, it's the end. It is delaying the inevitable to put Trump in office, frankly. But a delay is exactly what is needed for your sake. But if you don't want it, God will give you what you want, but it also means the end of the world. You have not wanted the restrainer to be maintained. You have not wanted an object in motion to stop being in motion in a downward trajectory. You have insisted as a nation that is America that you don't want your sovereignty as a country. A man that has made it clear that he's prepared to hand over your nation's sovereignty to bodies like the United Nations and the World Health Organization. You are trying to reinvest people like him, his kind, his ilk, into the White House. You are asking for America to be sold over. And seeing as you are patriotic as a country, your patriotism is uneducated and uninformed, sadly. Why? Because you don't see that this here activity of insisting upon so much wickedness in your country as normal to a point of putting it in legislation, is the very thing that has historically destroyed nations. A hedonistic society cannot stay powerful. It cannot stay king. It cannot stay queen. It will not be regal for much longer. It will lose its royalty status. It will, because hedonism has never succeeded to linger for more than just a few centuries or more than just a few years. It can't stay, because hedonism is anarchy. It's anarchy. And any nation that does not have any real structure that is solid and meaningful cannot be maintained in power. It can't. America is just too pleasure-seeking. It is too hedonistic. It is too immoral, too untamed. It is too, it lacks scruples. It doesn't have manners. And this is happening in increasing measure. Such societies have never thrived indefinitely. But anyway, they think that they're on the right side of history. All the best. Russia's gonna bomb you into oblivion, America. I'm just saying. It was raised up on one side. It had 3 ribs in its mouth between its teeth, and it was told, arise and devour much flesh. After this, I looked, and behold, another, like a leopard. This is the one that was described, very similar to that statue outside of the UN, okay? Like a leopard with 4 wings of a bird on its back, and the beast had 4 heads, and dominion was given to it. Yeah. So essentially, the United Nations mixed together with the European Union is going to be given dominion. But then it's going to give all of that dominion. Yeah. It's going to give all that dominion to the Antichrist. Then it's nice and over. Okay. Yeah. And dominion was given to it. After this, I saw in the night visions, and behold, a 4th beast, terrifying and dreadful and exceedingly strong. It had great iron teeth. It devoured and broke in pieces and stamped what was left with its feet. It was different from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns now. Look at how it's written here that it had iron. Broken pieces, stamped, blah, 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 blah. It had great iron teeth. The statue of Nebuchadnezzar was part iron, part clay. So basically it is a meshing together of one kingdom, one that is strong, the other that is weak. And because of how weak the weak is, it's easily shattered by the second coming of the Lord Jesus Christ. This beast has got iron teeth. It is essentially the Antichrist. And he rises from a revived Roman Empire. However, he was meshed with who? America. That was what? Little girls. Effeminate little wannabe patriarchy that fell apart, lost its first love, and then reinvested into the European Empire. And then it gave this European Empire its power to the Antichrist. The Antichrist of which is going to rule and reign for a season, and then he's going to get destroyed by the Son of Man. Are you catching? Are you following with me? Let's move to the next part.